Oh man, finally, we crafted every single armor pieces from Savage Omega and also the Insect Glaive, and now I'm free. I am free from the torment of Savage Omega for now. But anyways, before we dive into the armor set and the set bonuses and all that stuff, I have a quick update for you guys. I finally managed to get the talisman I'm looking for. I finally got that attack boost talisman. Although it has foray into it, but I guess beggars can be choosers. But anyways, let's get started. So let's start with the Insect Glaive from Savage Omega, which is called True Omega's Rod. It's a fire Insect Glaive with 3-1 decoration slots, and it has white sharpness, which is fantastic, and a base affinity of 10%. So the main focus for this Insect Glaive is the synergy skill, or the equipment skill, which is called Synergy, which essentially gives you affinity to you and your teammates whenever you do the Rising Spiral Slash. Basically, every time you do the combo finisher for the Insect Glaive, you get affinity for you and your teammates. Now, the amount of affinity you get is 15%. However, if you're using the 4-piece set bonus from Savage Omega or the Omega armor set, which is called Resonance 2, you will go from 15% affinity to 25% affinity. Now, when it comes to the armor set and the set bonus, which is called Omega's Resonance, the 2-piece set bonus is called Resonance 1, the 4-piece set bonus is called Resonance 2. Now, the 2-piece set bonus doesn't affect your weapon skill or the synergy skill in the Insect Glaive. However, the 4-piece set bonus does. Resonance 2 buffs your affinity from 15 to 25, as I said earlier. Now, the way this set bonus works is that if you are in multiplayer or if you have support hunters in your party, when you start the quest, you have two types of basically buffs alternate. One that's called Local Resonance, the other one called Remote Resonance. Local Resonance gives you affinity and Remote gives you attack power. Now, I was fighting Raidao in the arena earlier with one support hunter while using the 2-piece set bonus, and the affinity I was gaining from Local Resonance was 20%, and the attack value was 10. Now, the 4-piece set bonus takes the affinity to 40% and the attack to 20. And I will showcase, or I will include some of the clips where I pause and look into my affinity and attack power when I see that the skill is activating or deactivating. So this is the set bonus. Now, when you have all the 5 pieces of the armor set equipped, the skills that you get are Divine Blessing level 3, Evade Window level 2, Path Breaker level 2, Weakness Exploit, Agitator, and Burst at level 1. Which is good in a way. But the thing that you should be, the thing that draws me into this armor set is the decoration slots. Every single one of them give you 3 and 2 decorations, which is good. However, we will not be using all 4 pieces. I don't think anyone will ever be using 4 pieces, the 5 pieces from the armor set. I will be using 4. And in my case, because I like Evade Extender for the Insect Glaive, I will use the Arch-Tempered Raidao gloves because it has the Evade Extender level 2 and 2 level 3 decoration slots. Now, because the affinity and the attack alternate, sometimes your affinity will be low. And in this case, because our base affinity is 10%, and if we do the Rising Spiral Slash, we will go up to 35, because 10 plus 25, 35, right? And then when we have the affinity from the Local Resonance active, we will go from 35 to 75. However, that's the thing. The thing is, it's not going to be active the whole time. Sometimes it will rotate to the attack power. Sometimes you will have Local Resonance active, but no one in your teammate is next to you, so it will deactivate until you go close to them. So we need another option for affinity. But in this case, I don't want to use Critical Eye, or I don't want to use Maximum Might. Well, actually, we can use Maximum Might. I just don't like it for the Insect Glaive because I feel like it's kind of limiting. But if you want, you can definitely use Maximum Might. Give you another 30. So now you have a base affinity of 30. Let's just activate the Come on. Wow. So if we come here to the where is his name? Oh yeah, actually no, we don't need to activate it. So now you see we have 55 because with synergy from earlier, if it runs out, hold on, 7 seconds. Let's just get the buffs from the machine. So now we are at 40, 10% from the weapon, 30 from maximum might. Now synergy is active, we go to 65. So from 40 to 65, that's a 25% increase. So 65. And if we go in multiplayer and we fight with this setup, we get another 40, we will go to 105, which isn't a bad thing, right? So this is one way where you can use this armor set, and then you can use the level 3 decorations to either maximize burst or get 3 levels of burst and counter strike or whatever you want. But in my case, the other option we can go with is Challenger or Latent Power or Tenderizer. I just take Challenger here to just squeeze more attack power and get some affinity. So with Challenger, we have 15% affinity and 20 attack when the monsters are angry, right? So 10% from the weapon and 15 from Agitator, we should be sitting at 25, and then another 25, we should be sitting at 50%. And then when we have the local resonance active, which is 40% for the 4-piece set bonus, we should go to 90. And then the 5% from weakness exploit or the 3% show 93. So this is the way I'm gonna set up the affinity for this build. But if you feel like you will benefit more from skills like Latent Power, from skills like Maximum Might, then feel free to do so. Now, the other things I will look into is either Counter Strike to get more damage as we get hit, right? Counter Strike here. And then maybe slot in either maximizing Path Breaker, and then now we have 2 levels of chain or 1 level of chain. So we take Burst to level 2, we take Path Breaker to level 3, which is optional. I just like to do more damage when I break the wounds. And we have max Agitator and max Counter Strike. So with this setup, we get to 90% when we have the affinity buff, and we stay at 55 when we don't. Let me show you again. We have a white buff, come on, and then the red buff. Okay, so we are at 10% affinity. Let's go and activate Agitator. Now we will be at 25. Yep. And then when we do the Rising Spiral Slash, we should go up to 50. See, 50% affinity, which is good until you get the other affinity buff from the weapon, from the armor set. So this is the build. I don't want to limit you when it comes to the talisman, because obviously you have your own talismans. Our RNG is different for everyone. I do have 2 options I can use here, which is need to showcase my attack boost talisman. So yeah, I can go to my talisman here and maximize attack. So if I have to use the attack boost talisman, I will get 5 levels of attack boost, 5 levels of critical boost, and 5 levels of Agitator and Challenger. So this is the base version of the build, or this is the build that I have. If you want, you can adjust it however you want. For example, you can drop off Challenger completely, you can slot in Latent Power, you can maximize Tenderizer, and then you also have another piece where you can get 1 more level of chain. So now you have 5 levels of weakness exploit, 3 levels of chain, 3 levels of Counter Strike, 3 levels of Path Breaker, and 2 levels of Evade Window and Evade Extender. Yeah, so this armor set gives you so much options to use, although the only limitation here is that you have to play with support hunters, or you have to play with multiplayer. Because if you say you can use this if you want to play solo just to buff synergy, but then you will go through all that trouble just to take synergy from 15% to 25, which is 10%, which is honestly, you can just get it from somewhere else. like antivirus, like Yacrus gives you 15 if you use 2 pieces. So that is the one thing that I hate about this armor set, that it's focused on team play. But hey, something different than what we have, and yeah, we have to embrace it. And yeah, this is the breakdown of the armor set, the Omega armor set and the Insect Glaive. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. I will do my absolute best to answer. And also leave a like, it really helps me out a lot. And also consider subscribing. And yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.